What's up, nerds? Okay, so first thing I want to say is I'm sorry I'm late on covering this show. I was going to cover it on Tuesday, which was yesterday, but with the election going on here in America, and then my daughter had 2 appointments, I was able to watch the show, but I wasn't able to cover it. I just didn't have the time. There was no time. There's never enough time. But I just want to say that, and I'm covering it now. I know late, and a day late and a dollar short. But I just want to say that I really liked this episode. I thought it was really good, even though it wasn't like there was some action in it, something that happened at the end, which I really liked. I will talk about it when I get to it. But and if you know what you saw this episode, you know what it is. But I really like this show, and the thing that this episode that I like so much was that it really, to me personally, it spoke to, real small town American values that I think that really are just, I think are great. I really think they're great. And I just love them. It just spoke to me. And I feel like with this whole Luther, being what you could say is corporate, America versus, Smallville, small town America. And I just really love that. And I'll talk about it when we get to that. But this episode was just really, really good. I thought it was great. And I want to just say the acting on this show, I think is really, really good, you guys. I think it's so good. The guy that plays Luther, I don't have his name in front of me. Sorry. But he's one of my favorite Lex Luthers ever. Like, he's definitely in my top 3 of all the Lex Luthers. I don't know. I haven't ranked him or whatever, but I really think he's just so great in terms of Lex Luthers. He's so good, and I am here for it. I'm bummed this is the final season. I really am. Let's get into this breakdown. I'll talk about the things that I like and everything, and then I'll meet you on the other side. All right, here we go. Okay, so Luther, has been planning to build his Luther Corp headquarters in Smallville, right? And so Luther plans to purchase land from 80 Manning, and he threatens Lana into allowing him to buy the land and build a new headquarters in Smallville, which this confuses McCoy and the Lex Corp executives. So I don't know. I don't like the idea of Luther building his headquarters in Smallville. I think but at the same time, like I said before, I think it's really good in terms it speaks to corporate America trying to move into these small towns and trying to take over, and it's like these small towns who are struggling, they just like, they're just like, and I'll talk about it in just a second, but they're just like overwhelmed with how much money it is. And I'll talk about it in a minute, but I thought that it was fun because I like the executive guy, the white dude that's all like, his whole thing is just like, why are we in this podunk town? We are a major corporation. What are we doing here? And then Amanda McCoy, she's just like, listen, Luther wants what Luther wants. Isn't my hair perfect? The Asian chick is super fucking hot. I'm into those Asians. They're very beautiful. But I found it very interesting. All right, so Lana and Clark, right? They convince 80 to stop the sale of her land, though they do worry that she only agreed because she knows Clark's secret identity as Superman. And then later on at a local bar, right, Luther offers 80 and the other patrons in the bar $10 million each if she sells her land. But then they all refuse, and she refuses. So this is what I'm talking about when I really like the small town values, because 80 when Clark and Lana go to visit her on her land, she says, this is the most money I've ever seen or ever will see in my lifetime. And it was obviously not $10 million. And it just goes to show that whatever she was offered, big corporations, they will offer people money for their land that will change their life exponentially. It will change their life so much that they could be set for life or for the rest of their life. And that's and it's just pennies to them. It's pennies to these corporations. And it really bothers me because sometimes you get these people that land has been in their family for generations. and they're just so down on their luck that they take it. They're just like, hey, I can move somewhere else and I can just live the rest of my life in peace. And that really does sadden me. It really does. I mean, when like me personally, like, I live in this house, which I pay for and everything. And you just wonder about like your kids and all that stuff. And then when he offers her $10 million, and you can see the look on her face, as soon as he says, I will give you $10 million and everyone in this bar, $10 million if you sell your land to me. And first off, for her not to agree was just absolutely fantastic. Like, man, I do not know. I cannot say for certain myself that I would turn that down, that I could be that strong. And I know it's a show. I know it's a show, but still, it really spoke to me in terms of, and what was great was those two men. I think one was Big Sugar from the restaurant, which I love that character, you guys. I want like just a little, like a mini movie of him, like a 10-minute movie of just him. Like, I would love it if they just showed the whole show through his perspective in that fucking kitchen, like last season when Clark comes in and he confronts the guy that pulled the gun on Lois and his son, I think Jonathan. Oh, that'd been so good. Like, he sees what's going down. He's like, oh, what's going on here? That'd be so good. Wouldn't that be the best? Okay, anyways, all right. Enough about picture. But so they stand up and they say, and she just looks at him. He's like, it's not worth it, 80. And I was just like, man, way to have her back, guys. That's what I'm fucking talking about. When somebody, when a friend, when a local town member, when somebody that you've lived with for years needs you to have their back, you have their back. And that's what I'm fucking talking about. And the fact that they just said it doesn't, he wants it, and I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said something along the lines of, he wants it so bad, it can't be right. And I was like, you fucking go, Murray, or whatever your dude name is. I was like, man, that is what I'm talking about. Now, one thing I don't like in this is everybody in this goddamn town knows who Superman is. I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, is everybody going to know that Clark is Superman now in this season? I'm just like, come on. But at the same time, I do have a feeling that we're going to get like a Clark at the end where he takes off his glasses. He's like, I am Superman, like an Iron Man moment kind of thing. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to like that, but at the same time, and I just don't care for all these townies knowing that he's Superman. I like that he has a secret identity. Okay, so moving on. Meanwhile, Jonathan begins like overworking himself, saving people around the world. So this whole time, Jonathan has really stepped up as Superboy, right? And he's going through and he's just saving people left and right, which I do like to see. But his family is like, hey, maybe you need to take a breather because it's beginning to be a little bit too much. You know what I'm saying, dude? And he's just like, listen, Dad, you're getting up there in age, my dude, because he's got the white hair and everything, which I do think they're going to have the Kingdom Come look. But I think that I don't think this is a problem personally, as long as he still gets his homework done. You know what I'm saying? It's just like an extracurricular activity and stuff. So we'll see where that goes, like, in the future. But right now I'm just focused on Lois and Clark. So Lois, right? She attempts to flip McCoy on Luther, right? And she reveals that Luther cut ties with Elizabeth. So she tells, Amanda, she's like, it didn't work out with Elizabeth. Elizabeth wants nothing to do with him. And we saw the thing where he's beating up the hotel, and his fists are all bloody and everything, which I get that. I mean, I've been, that way, like so mad where I punch, I don't punch through rotted wood and stuff. Like, you ever do that where you get so mad, like you just punch a wall, but the wall is like way stronger than you're like, God damn it, now my hand hurts. If you haven't been there, good for you. I bought a punching bag. Anyways, so I did, of course, I liked that Lois went to Amanda and was all like, hey, Luther, he will turn on you one day. Once you become, useless to him, or you're no longer useful, he'll turn on you in a heartbeat like that. And I think Amanda is, I think Luther needs Amanda more than Lois realizes and everything. But of course, Lois doesn't know everything that Amanda does. So, and we'll talk about her at the end and everything. So Jordan asks to work at the diner because he needs, something else besides being Superboy, which this puzzles Sarah, right? And she envies Jordan's freedom to go anywhere he wants because he's got powers. But she ultimately decides that she wants to study abroad. So one, this is how they get rid of Sarah's character, because she's no longer a main character on the show. She's just recurring because they can't afford it and everything. They're trying to cut back. And Jordan wants to work at the diner, and she's like, this is just going to be too weird, dude. I can't do this and everything. And he's all like, I need this. And she's just like, dude, what are you bitching about, dude? You've got powers. You can fly. Go anywhere you want for an afternoon. Go to freaking Guam and shit. Why are you sitting? You're such, and this is another thing about Jordan that really, and I've said this before. I went on a whole rant like 2 episodes ago, but Jordan's a little bitch, and it really does annoy me. Like, she doesn't want to work with you, so go find a new job. Does every kid have to work at that fucking diner? Although I would love to work with Big Sugar. So I'm just like, okay. So, but then I'm also like, Sarah is, she's jealous and envious of the fact that Jordan can go anywhere, which I get that part of the program. But at the same time, I just go, Sarah, stop being a little bitch. Like, step up and do your thing, dude. Like, you can go somewhere too. Just be home before the streetlights come on. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, she decides at the end to study abroad. And just for her junior year, she says at the end, which was like nice that her mom let her do it and everything. But, I did like this character for a little bit, but now I'm just like, they've just stepped her back so much that it's like, okay, whatever, So that night, right, Otis breaks into Lana's house and tries to strangle her, but is stopped by Sarah and taken to the DOD. So Lana wakes up, right? Because she's been foiling Luther this whole time as mayor. And she wakes up, turns off her stove, and there's Otis, right? And she fights with him. One thing that I did like about this fight with Otis and Lana was the fact that they didn't do the thing that shows do or movies do, where a 95-pound woman will beat the shit out of a 300-pound man that's all built and muscly. I hate that shit. It's not realistic. I'm sorry. I know I got it. Girl power and shit. But we have to be realistic in this stuff, because I think that it adds a layer that is very good for the show. So she couldn't defeat Otis with her own strength, right? But what she did was she put her feet up on the counter and then used her own weight and that momentum to push and knock him into that aquarium thing behind them. And I was like, this is good. I like it when shows or movies do stuff like this, because it's realistic. If you are a smaller woman in this case and you've got a larger opponent, using that momentum and your body weight against them is in your favor, and it's indicative of real life. And I appreciated that, because I mean, like, if she would have just been like, and then threw him over her shoulder, I would have been like, get the fuck out of here. Her knees would have buckled like hardcore. So I'm happy that they did that. So Sarah, she defeats him, right? And the cops show up, and she tells Jordan, she's all like, my dad made us all hide bats under our bed, and it's the only thing I could do to stop him from killing my mom. And I was like, maybe I should buy some bats for my kids to put under their bed. Watch they use them on themselves or on each other. Ugh, that'd be the worst. But I thought that that was pretty I'm not good, but good. You know what I'm saying? So enraged, right? Clark is pissed. He confronts Luther outside the hotel. But he is depowered by red streetlights installed by Milton, which Luther had him construct earlier in the episode. So Clark has his family watching this whole time. And Clark does defeat Luther in the fist fight they get into. And he tells him to never return to Smallville. So I liked this fist fight. I mean, Avi, they were going to do, they couldn't do it as Superman, because Superman would beat the shit out of Luther. But Luthor earlier in the episode had Milton, aka Brainiac. I don't know if they're going to introduce Brainiac and everything, but make red kryptonite uh, streetlights, right? And so he's depowered, and they're fighting, right? But this is the part. This is the part of the episode that I really liked. So Clark is pissed, right? And he steps up and he goes to Luthor. He pulls up, and he's calling him out. He's like, Luthor, and everything. I was like, this is what I'm talking about. When somebody messes with your ex-girl or your family or whatever, you step up and you pull up and you say, listen, dude, it's go time, motherfucker. And he's like, Luthor comes out and everything because, he's got his weapon of choice. And he's all like, you're done here, dude. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out of my town. You've messed with me enough. You tried to kill my bestie. I want you fucking out of here now, dude. I'm not asking. I'm telling. Get the fuck out. And of course, Luthor's all like, you can't make me and everything. So they fight. And it was a good fight. It was pretty good. And I like how Luthor's all like, now they see who you really are. And I'm like, what? No, they don't. I mean, like, Clark's a good guy. And this is good. If I was Lois, I would just be like, psh, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would be so wet right now. It would be like Niagara Falls. You know what I'm saying? He stepped up and defended. Like, if I was Lana, I'd be like, psh, you know what I'm saying? So this was good. This was good. So back in Metropolis, Amanda reaffirms her loyalty to Luthor and then tells him that he needs a killer suit. So Luthor is back in Metropolis, right? And he has asked Amanda, because he's all like, earlier in the episode, he's all like, do you still, believe in me? And she was like, I don't know anymore. And he's like, well, go figure, when you figure it out, let me know. And because then I believe it might have been in the last episode, but he's like, the only two things that kept me through prison was my daughter and the thought that you had my back. And she reaffirms that she is on Luthor's side, which I would be too if I was in it like that. I'd just be like, let's do this, dude. But then he's sewing up his face because he got his ass beat. And she's like, you're doing it wrong. He's like, I had to do it myself in prison, kind of thing. And she's all like, not the stitches. And she tells him you need a killer suit. And I think he's going to get his classic green suit that he's had in the comic books to fight Superman, which I feel like with the weaker Superman that we got now, I just feel like it won't be like a fair fight kind of thing, but whatever. So, and that's the end of the episode. So I'm curious to see because I think we have 4 episodes left. No, we have three because this is episode 7. And there's only 10. I just really liked this episode, you guys. I thought it was really good. I thought, like I said before, I just thought that the small town American values really stepped up, in my opinion, in this, and really fought against corporate America. And I just really like that Clark stepped up to fight Luthor at the end there. He was all like, you want to mess with me and mine? Okay, let's tussle, fucker. So, yeah. But tell me what you guys thought about this episode. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What was your favorite part? Who's your favorite character? What do you think is going to happen? Is Brainiac going to show up at all or no? Because they only have 3 episodes. It wouldn't be worth it to introduce him now. Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe it'll be a cliffhanger. But tell me what you guys thought about it. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next Superman and Lois breakdown review. You guys have a good week. Bye.